So one of the most interesting things I've discovered along this journey of discovering what a true narcissist is, how they tick, how they operate, because it's not like a seemingly normal person. Um, Things just don't work the same way with them. And the discussion everybody has is about no contact, and there's a lot of that around the general dating community, and that's generally the way to approach somebody who doesn't want you anymore is go to no contact. But when it comes to somebody with a high level of narcissistic tendencies or a full blown somebody with NPD, is what I found through my research is that no contact actually inflicts the most punishment and makes the narcissist feel in a way that nothing you say or do can ever do. And I actually had a hard time really believing that, or even just rationalizing how does that even make sense. It's like, if this person doesn't want to be with you, how in the world does not talking to them and having literally nothing to do with them, punish them? And the reason for that is somebody with MPD, they need to have attention from everybody in their life all the time. And if you're somebody who was a former supply or somebody who used to give them attention in some way, that they still rely on you until they get to a point where you actually successfully go no contact for X amount of time and they find somebody to substitute that. Your no contact, almost the same as cutting off a drug supply to an addict. Now, granted, depending on where you're at in your situation, it may be a pretty low level addiction, or depending on how much this person, how much of a supply you're giving them. This could be somebody, who does heroin every day and just instantly doesn't. Like, you can have that same reaction. And today, if you watch my first video, I'm in the middle of this process where a lot of people who do videos and put information out, they've been through it, they have a lot of experience with it. I'm still going through it, so I don't get the full spectrum, but I feel like I have a very unique perspective to offer. And something that happened today, I think I have a very unique perspective to offer on this no contact and what it means. And with this person I'm dealing with, we're still trying to negotiate things into getting out of our situation. And one of the, constant devaluing, constantly putting me down for any chance she has about anything, pretty much. And one of the things she said to me is revolving around having a polite, reasonable conversation. And she told me, like, over the last 4 weeks, that I'm cruel, and my cruelty has done nothing but increase over the last 4 weeks. She's perceiving my lack of attention towards her as cruelty, and that it's increasing. And what's been happening over the last 4 weeks is I've been accelerating my no contact because we're still partially living together. It's very challenging and difficult. We have a kid together. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts. So I'm trying to find that balance of no contact. And I've been able to do that, especially the last 2 weeks. And the thing that changed for me, even though I've been working on this and trying to do this for a while, is people have said this, but there's a genuine, when you truly go no contact, you'll feel it. You'll feel it inside. And you get to a point where you just don't care. You really don't care. All of the manipulation tactics, all the threats, all the whatever might come out of left field at any moment, you get to a point and there's no magical thing for it. I think I just have been working through it and eventually just hit there. But I literally got to a point where I don't care. I don't care what you do to me. And a part of this comes from my faith and from God, and that he will push me through everything. I need to focus and stay looking on what my mission is and what my purpose is, and I need to not let anybody be getting involved in it. And if somebody comes in and throws a bunch of wrenches and causes all these problems, it's just something I got to deal with when it comes up. And maybe it's a situation to point me in a different direction from where I'm going, because there's all kinds of ways that you get guided through your life, and it's not always, nice fuzzy experiences that make you feel good. Sometimes they're really tough and really hard, and that's what actually gets you to wake up and do what you need to do. But what I found fascinating and made me want to make this video is that I have actually said nothing. I have the gray rock method. I've actually gotten to that point. I'm around her whenever we interact. There's no emotion. I show her zero emotion. I don't show her positive emotion. I don't show her negative emotion. I don't engage in any of the fake arguments that she's trying to do. She's tried to pull me into all these different things. And her description of my behavior over the last 2 weeks was cruelty. And mind you, she's not self-aware. She doesn't know what's going on with her. She doesn't know why she feels this way. And I responded to her like, literally, I haven't been talking to you for the last 2 weeks. You're saying I'm being cruel to you, and I'm not talking to you. And that's when it clicked, is I am being cruel to her. For her, in her mind, in her world, how things look for her, right now, by me owning my own self, being in my own frame, being in my own space, my own energy, not engaging, truly gray rocking and truly feeling inside that I've moved past some point in my life. That's cruel to her. And it's a weird feeling, because there's been so many times throughout this process that, you have that devil inside you that's like, I just want her to get her own. I want her to feel the way I feel. And, not necessarily revenge, but you're like, man, I just wish something would happen. Or what can I do? Is there something I could do? Well, I can tell you definitively 100%. A lot of people have said this too, but this is another one. I'm right in the middle of it. When it comes to a narcissist, a true narcissist, somebody who does not have empathy, somebody who truly has a horrible past that they've been through, they haven't had their needs met, they really are a damaged person, and somebody who is not working on it and is doubling down and just living in delusion. The fact that me cutting off contact and moving on with my life and moving forward in all those ways is the cruelest thing I could ever do to her. It's a very strange feeling, because at the same time, I don't want to be cruel to anybody. Like I've gotten to that point too, where I've like gotten past the revenge and all that, and I've the channel's about demons and spirituality and all that stuff, and that's really what centered me down, and I've been following that, and just really getting to that point. And I'm like, I genuinely, especially I have a kid, it's like I pray, I hope that your path involves you getting help and you figuring out what's going on and that something's not right. That way you can be a better mother and all those things. I genuinely want that. And it's a strange dynamic that was the result of what I'm doing and how I'm showing up is cruel to this person. And that's part of the having empathy, is like, like as much as everything you've done to me, it's like I still don't want to knowingly inflict cruelty on you, but it's like, if me moving on with my life, if me not engaging with you and your nonsense, if that's going to be cruelty to you, you know what? That's what you get. That's not my fault. And that might just be the balancing effect of how all of this stuff works. So I think what I'm trying to get at with this is the no contact that that is the way to get back at the narcissist. That is truly how you get back at them. But you can't get back at them, and you can't go no contact and move on if you are trying to get back at them. Because if you are trying to get back at them, that means you're still fixated on them. That means you're still thinking about them. That means they still hold some control over you in your life, and they can feel that. They have a demon. That person has a demon inside them. That demon, they can feel it. They know. They see things we don't. They can see through stuff. They see, especially if you're, on the empath spectrum of any kind. That comes through. They can tell when you care. Even if you're upset, that's a form of caring. The only way you can get back at the narcissist is when you get to the point that you don't want to get back at them. When you get to the point that you've healed and moved on and you truly go no contact. You truly cut them out of your life and you truly do not give them any energy of any kind, even from afar. I'm seeing it happen in real time right now with somebody who is not aware of what they're going on, and I can watch them like a video game, and I know what the next move is going to be, and I know that the NPCs are going to do this, and I know that all the parameters in the game have these limitations. I can see everything that's going on and watch it in real time. And as I go further along, I'll find more and have more insights. But I think that's a good point of no contact. And, leave in the comments what you think about my method of doing it, any improvements, any stories you've had about going no contact and how that's worked out or what the pros and cons are. What's interesting is I feel like I have been doing that for quite a long time. But I think because of, the partially living together, not settling, being in a strange situation where it's hard for either one of us to cut out and just move on due to a lot of different constraints, that's been what starts to happen is you notice that their energy field, that they suck you in very easily. And unless you are super grounded, unless you're super aware of it, what's going on, it's very, very easy to get sucked in and locked in, and it kind of throws you off before you even know it. You don't even realize what's going on. So I think that's part of it, getting physical distance, getting emotional distance, doing everything you can to not let it bother you. And that's a big thing too, is that's what's happening right now, is that this person things are not going well. They are not going well, and it has nothing to do with anything I did. There isn't less I could be doing. And it's like the less I'm doing, the less I'm consumed by any of it, the less I'm, I hope this happens or I hope that happens. And the more I cut myself out, the more I turn to God and I tell him, you're going to handle this. This person is not well. They have a demon inside them. You know how to deal with that better than I do. And saying the only thing I can do now is I just need to step away. And I can feel I'm becoming more myself. I'm having less anxiety. And that's the thing too. Fear, anxiety, those are all demonic influences over your life. So if you're around people that invoke that in you almost unknowingly, and it's like you can't even control it, that's very much something to look into. But you also have to be aware of your own self, because you could be doing things to yourself in your own life that cause those kind of things, right? Like if you're not eating well, if you're not getting exercise, if you're drinking all the time, a big side effect is if you binge drink all night and wake up the next morning, you're going to get a crash. That'll cause anxiety, but that's another form. Alcohol's demonic influence. Right, so these are all things. Doesn't mean you can't have a beer, but it means that that could turn into a stronghold. That can turn into a gateway for these bad influences and things to get into your life. So, yeah, that's my experience on no contact, how no contact is actually cruel to the narcissist. However, if you are in a place where you want to inflict cruelty on the narcissist, guess what? I can tell you from my own experience, it's not going to happen. The only way you can inflict cruelty is when you get to the point that you just don't care. You don't care you don't care how they feel. You don't care if karma's coming back to them. You don't care if they're doing good. You don't care if everything's going well for them right now. You have to not care. You have to find your own way of getting there. Find other hobbies. Get away. Take a break. Get out of the energy field. Do whatever you can, but you need to center on yourself. Go talk to people. Go talk to a counselor if you haven't. Like, figure this stuff out. But I can reassure you and tell you when you get to that point, it's going to start happening. And one thing to watch out to, you got to watch out. It's been rough. Last couple weeks has been rough. A lot of verbal abuse, almost physical abuse. There was an instance where she did something, and if she would have just done something a little bit differently, would have resulted in an injury on me. So, especially if you're a woman with a man, and this is a narcissistic man, I've heard many psychologists say this too, but I mean, you got to tread carefully depending on your situation. There's some people, especially some of these people with these disorders, they could lose it, right? They may not be completely well. They may have other stuff. They may have psychosis. They may have, might be a sociopath of some kind. So just letting you know my experience and how it worked for me. You got to be careful, do your own thing. If you're dealing with anybody like I am in any sort of situation, that you got to watch out for yourself, man. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.